As we said before, in CITS, C stands for cooperation. We know that without cooperation, this whole idea would fail. Now let's hear more about harmonized infrastructure communication profile. I would like to hand over to Mr. Alexander Frötscher, who is here with me. Welcome.
Hi, hello. Thank you and welcoming me here and being able to present the Task Force 3 results on behalf of our chair, Mr. Peter Meckel from ASFINAG in Austria, but I'm stepping in to represent the main status of our specifications. As you have seen before, Task Force 3 delivers some core elements of our C-Road specifications, and the first part is the system specification, which is related to CITS message profiles. These are the elements that can be used for every communication channel and are the general specifications of the messages we transmit from infrastructure. The second part, for doing this, we are also presenting this for the roadside ITS system profile and for a mobile ITS system profile. That's where we create the second part of our specifications and where we generate the several releases that my colleagues have introduced before. If you look at the first part, the system specifications, here the service which has been created in Task Force 2 and which Onno has shown you before, we take that as a functional part and then specify the messages that apply to all CITS implementers. I think it's important to mention here that these messages can be transmitted via any communication channel, and that's why we think C-Roads makes a big job in getting this standardized and getting those transferred via different channels. The second part of the system specifications is we define the details of these messages and the common use in Europe of the data elements. This is based on standards, and there is a large set of these standards, as you know, published by ETSI or ISO and CEN. But we are doing then the details how these elements look like in the various messages used for CITS communication. These are CAM messages, DNM messages, IVI, but also for the intersection in urban areas based on SSM, SRM, and SPATM. So these are the things we add and where we agree and harmonize in Europe. And that's why a big part of our task is developing specifications and then testing those. If you have these messages available and can use them in common, you then create the system profile part. You know that the first start of C-Roads has been based on ad hoc communication, B2B. We at the same time define the specific requirements to enable this use case transferred between infrastructures and vehicles. And this is coming from roadside, is transferred to vehicles, and this is included in our system profiles for stationary units mounted on the roadside, but also for roadworks trailers. And the second part, please be aware that many of the C-Roads members are implementing CITS also in their operational vehicles on the motorway. So we have also a mobile system profile which is created in C-Roads and which is then used by all the members. A second big part of our work is that we not only harmonize within C-Roads with the 18 members, but we take into account external stakeholders, which are associated members, but we specially agree and communicate with infrastructure, which is the Car-to-Car Communication Consortium. Members of the Car-to-Car Communication Consortium regularly comment our specifications and take part in the testing and validation. And only this part of the work, which is done by all the participants together, then shows that really the CITS services we create are harmonized in Europe, and they can be used for transferring them vehicle to vehicle, infrastructure to vehicle, and vehicle to infrastructure. And this is something we are quite proud of because it is a large extension and set of documentation available publicly and fully available to all the participants.